Well, good morning, my friends, and once again, thank you for taking this opportunity to join me. Today is Thursday, September the 1st, 2016, and again, to all of my followers, I do hope that each and every one of you, again, are having a blessed week this far. And again, with that being said, overall, it's been a fairly interesting week, of course, or should I say a night last night. And again, the reason for this particular video, again, is in regards to a particular dream, or should I say a dream that I had last night, that I do believe is in regards to, many of the things that are, bound to come very soon, of course. And again, how many of you may know that the Lord may, that the Lord will, not that he may, but he will give, many of you dreams in the last days and visions, of course, as his word plainly says in the book of Acts chapter 2, verses 17, where it goes on to say, "And it shall come to pass that in the last days, says God, that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And upon my men servants and my maidservants I will pour out my spirit on those days, and they shall prophesy." And again, as it goes on to say here in verses 1 again, your old men shall dream dreams. And that is exactly what I believe the Lord is doing in these last days. He's pouring out his spirit in such a way that we have never seen before. We know that he is sending signs in these last days to prepare his people for many of the things that are coming, especially for those who aren't ready, of course. And, as I've said, I had a particular dream last night of what I felt was definitely a sign from the Lord of things to come upon this country. And as I've said before, we really need, this country needs a leader that is going to take this country forward and, continue to, lead it and stand on the Christian values of this country and not, further divide it, as I've said before. And, as many of you may have heard in the past, as it's been said, a house divided cannot stand. We have to remain one nation under God. As one people and as one body in Christ, again, as he created us all to be, of course. And with all this division that we're seeing, and with all this protesting, and with all this anger, it does nothing but further prove exactly what Satan has come to do, and that's to steal, kill, and to destroy in these last days. He wants to see us, in strife and with anger, and attacking one another. Christians attacking one another, nation rising up against nation, just as God had, Jesus had told his disciples in Matthew 24. And we have to understand that that is not of God. And this particular dream I had last night, I felt that the Lord really showed me. And I can't remember where I was, but I remember that a lot of my friends from church, or should I say my family, were in this dream last night. And I can't really remember where we were, but again, I saw many of them, of course, and I just saw many crazy things happening. I saw a lot of gentlemen, a lot of young men and whatnot, wearing hoodies, using masks, to cover their faces, scarves and whatnot, and, do-rags. And I just saw a lot of craziness. I saw people fighting with one another. I saw, women fighting with one another. I saw blacks and whites, coming against one another. It was just a lot of craziness. And even at one point in this dream, I came under attack by an individual, wearing a hoodie with a mask in this dream. And, I was even spat at. And again, I felt that without a doubt, that the Lord gave me this particular dream last night, because this is a sign of many things to come. And I believe it was just recent, or it was just a while back, where members of the Black Lives Matter movement were, called out for a text message that was sent out to one another, or should I say emails. I'm not 100% for certain on that. But again, I believe it was that, their computers were hacked or something. And it was reported that members of the Black Lives Matter movement were calling for riots, should Trump get elected into office. And we have seen riots in the past. Of course, we just recently in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, of course, Baltimore, Maryland, Ferguson, Missouri, and so on. And again, Baton Rouge, Louisiana also, where again, they're just recently cleaning up from a massive amount of flooding there again. And again, as I've said, I believe that the Lord will show us many visions in these last days. And that is exactly what I believe he was trying to show me last night. Many things to come. And again, I do pray, that this nation is willing to elect a leader that is willing to stand on the Christian values of this country and willing to lead this country and not further divide it for the cause, or should I say the agenda. And we know that, that is one of, many George Soros's plans, and that's to see, the people come against one another. We know that without a doubt, he's paying many of these anti-Trump protesters, and he's paying, of course, the Black Lives Matter movement again to come out and protest, or to even cause, chaos. And of course, it's all a part of the agenda to, cause strife among the people. And we know that without any doubt, we're living in the last days. And I do urge each and every one of you again to continue to pray for a revival for the most part, because again, we know that we are in need of a revival in these last days. And, with so much happening, I do urge each and every one of you again to continue to pray, of course. Again, I want to touch up on another dream I had. It was a while back, even though I cannot remember when it actually happened. Again, it was so long ago, but I do remember the dream very vivid, of course. And again, I remember it was a dark night, should I say. And I can't really remember where I was in this dream. But again, I remember I was running, and I can just see people from all walks of life. Everybody was just in absolute shock and just a look of utter terror in their faces again, with fear. And I can hear people screaming and crying in utter panic, and people running, people just running everywhere. And I could not make out what was going on in the dream, but I knew that something was definitely very wrong. And out of nowhere, off to my left, which there was an ominous glow in the background over some buildings, suddenly there was an explosion. It was an explosion that was so tense. You could just feel it throughout your feet and throughout every part of your body. And just as this explosion happened, all of a sudden, people just began screaming even louder. And, people just began shoving one another. Everybody was just running in sheer panic. And the next thing I know, as I was running, I can just remember running and seeing myself running straight ahead. And the next thing I know, I was suddenly overwhelmed with an intense amount of heat and a strong tingling sensation throughout my entire body, as though I was being poked, should I say, with a trillion needles. And as this was happening, I suddenly felt my body become extremely numb. And as it happened, I saw myself being lifted up off the ground. And as I was being lifted up off the ground, I can remember seeing myself being funneled down what appeared to be a dark tunnel. I couldn't really make out where I was, but I can remember seeing what appeared to be a metal steel-like looking door there. And as I was, being shoved into this thing, I can remember seeing it just glowing red. And as it was glowing, it appeared to be, bits of flame coming out from behind it. And just before I hit this door, I woke up. And, literally as I had woke up, I couldn't tell if I was still in the dream or not. I remember just laying there, and my entire body just felt completely numb. And I was just in complete, I don't even know how to describe the word, but I just remember waking up. My heart was just racing so fast. And it probably took me a couple seconds to comprehend that I was awake and, where I was again. And I feel that there is no doubt in my mind that this is a sign from the Lord in these last days. And, he's showing us many signs of things to come. And speaking of, this dream, again, I felt that this was some sort of a nuclear attack that is bound to come very soon. And it was just yesterday I was reading a report from, of course, The Independent, a source that has gone on to say here by The Independent, which is said, or should I say the headline reads here, that North Korea soldiers armed with nuclear backpacks as tensions rise over U.S. and South Korean military exercise, in which a report has come out, which goes on to say a series of weapon tests by Kim Jong-un's forces. It reads here that the elite North Korean soldiers are being armed with nuclear backpacks. A source has claimed as tensions increase over the authoritarian state's attempts at military escalations. An anonymous source has told Radio Free Asia that special units had been formed since March to carry the weapons and had been taking part in a simulated training exercise with dummy bombs. And again, how many of you may know, it was just recent where North Korea has gone on to say that they now have nuclear capability that can reach the U.S. mainlands, of course. And with this headline just being recently released, which I will be leaving in a link below, it definitely raises the question of many things to come, of course. And I will be leaving a link in regards to this for many of you to read. And again, as I've said, the Lord will show many of us visions and signs in these last days. And as it goes on to say in the book of Acts, chapter 2, verses 17, where he goes on to say that your old men shall dream dreams. He will pour out his spirit in these last days. And I believe that he is pouring out his spirit in a mighty way. And again, with that being said, I do urge each and every one of you again to pray, of course. And let's be sure that we do continue to pray for a revival, because we know that we really need one. And again, if we happen to have any more breaking news or any updates, I will do my very best to bring that to you, of course. And again, God bless each and every one of you. And for those of you who are seeing this again for the first time, do feel free to subscribe. And again, if you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I do ask that you please do so again. And again, do feel free to subscribe. Again, talk to you all soon, and God bless.